Maintaining mental health requires a daily active practice, a continuous effort to keep your internal world in focus. Journaling functions as the primary mechanism for this check-in. By putting words on a page, you attempt to translate subconscious emotional patterns into a visible record that can eventually drive conscious behavioral change. But the current market is a chaotic landscape of conflicting choices. You're forced to choose between aesthetically demanding analog systems, AI-powered therapy apps, and generic advice to start writing. That lack of structure has consequences. Research into Dear Diary-style writing suggests that unstructured venting can actually backfire, triggering loops of toxic rumination rather than providing emotional relief. Digital solutions often present the opposite problem. Over-optimizing a journaling app with endless tags and trackers frequently leads to feature fatigue, where the tool itself becomes a source of blank page anxiety. To find a method that works, you have to balance two specific variables: the amount of friction and structure you can handle versus the level of emotional depth you need to reach. This quadrant chart shows the disorganized spread of current options. Without a clear framework, users often end up using high-friction tools for shallow tasks or low-depth tools for complex emotional problems. High ROI mental health journaling requires you to move past the search for the best tool. Success depends entirely on matching the medium and the method to your specific psychological baseline. Your first decision is the medium, choosing between the tactile nature of analog paper or the efficiency of a digital platform. AI-powered apps utilize large language models to provide automated pattern recognition and dynamic responsive prompting. These tools can analyze months of entries to show you exactly how your mood correlates with specific events. This matrix highlights the trade-offs. AI offers rapid insights, but requires subscriptions and raises privacy concerns. On the right, a physical notebook creates a distraction-free environment, matching cognitive processing to handwriting speed. The trade-off is zero searchability, making pattern tracking a massive manual effort. Digital tools are designed to accelerate data discovery. Analog tools are designed to enforce the cognitive friction necessary for deep reflection. For users with high time constraints or limited emotional energy, low-friction frameworks prioritize speed and consistency. Systems like digital mood tracking or rapid bullet logging rely on simple symbols to replace complex sentence construction. These methods excel at trigger identification. By logging a single mood score every day, you can see exactly how external variables, like sleep or work meetings, impact your internal state over time. However, these systems lack the depth required for complex processing. You cannot unpack deep-seated anxiety or past trauma using only bullet points and emojis. Aesthetic bullet journaling creates a conflict between beauty and utility. A page designed for visual perfection leaves very little room for the messy, disorganized writing required for honest emotional disclosure. These tools build the habit of daily check-ins, but they fail when you mistake task organization for actual psychological work. Processing heavy psychological loads requires high-friction frameworks, methods that demand significant emotional and cognitive effort. Dr. James Pennebaker's expressive writing protocol is the clinical standard here. It involves writing continuously for 15 minutes a day for 4 consecutive days, focusing specifically on your deepest thoughts regarding a traumatic or stressful event. This protocol is shown to reduce chronic stress markers and improve immune system function by helping the brain organize traumatic memories into a coherent narrative. The cost is immediate. This graph shows the emotional dip users experience during those 4 days. Writing about trauma is draining and requires emotional endurance before you see the long-term elevation in well-being. If the structure of a paragraph feels impossible, mind mapping serves as an alternative. By free associating thoughts around a central emotion, you can bypass writer's block and reveal hidden behavioral triggers. Mind mapping generates a massive amount of disorganized data. To make these insights actionable, you still need a follow-up session to synthesize that chaos into a clear plan. These are not daily habits. They are targeted interventions designed for specific psychological needs. Choosing your protocol is a diagnostic exercise. You have to match the tool to your current psychological capacity. This decision tree routes your choice based on your primary obstacle. The overwhelmed beginner typically lacks time and struggles with the friction of writing. If you're in this category, avoid complex AI prompts and high-effort protocols. Start with low-friction tracking tools to establish a baseline habit first. The analytical optimizer is looking for deep behavioral insights and measurable correlations between their habits and their mood. For this profile, AI apps are the most efficient choice. They reveal patterns you might miss manually, though you must still take the final step of turning those insights into real-world behavioral changes. The emotional processor is dealing with acute anxiety, high stress, or a specific traumatic event. If you are here, choose analog tools and the expressive writing protocol. This method requires you to endure a short-term emotional toll to achieve long-term narrative clarity. A successful journaling system is measured by how accurately it maps your internal state without becoming an additional source of stress. The right method isn't the most beautiful or the most advanced. It's the one that helps you see yourself clearly.